the relationship with AFL players and their clubs is changing right in front of us. Let me throw out some names. Patrick Cripps, Charlie Curnow, Christian Petrarca, Clayton Oliver and Zach Merritt. All are superstars of the game and all are the faces of their clubs. 2 seasons ago, if I said all of them were named in trade rumours or discussion to leave their clubs, you would have said that is crazy. Not only because of their form and leadership on and off field, but because of the connections they have to the clubs. It's hard to imagine any of them wearing different colours in the future. But in 2025, all of this has changed, and these are just some of the high profile names with strong ties at their clubs that are in the mix to be traded or request a trade. So how in just a few seasons has the industry's view on one club type of players changed so quickly, and is it actually a bad thing for the game and for the fans? Let's start at Carlton, who are the poster club for this discussion. Now we all know they are struggling and the coach and his staff are in trouble, but the marquee players are in focus. A big part of this new openness to trading stars who were once thought of as safe is Graham Wright. He is as aggressive as anyone in the trading space. In the 2022 off-season at Collingwood, he made the aggressive move to trade away their number 1 ruck in Brodie Grundy for just pick 27. At the time, that second round pick was seen as unders, but in hindsight it was genius, allowing Darcy Cameron to shine and getting in an extra pick. Wright also picked up Tom Mitchell, Bobby Hill, Patrick Lipinski and Billy Frampton. Because of the success of his aggressive player change and its widespread knowledge, it has also given the media free license to put out all of these trade theories with some of Carlton's best players. Of course, the other part is that the Blues are struggling and the questions around game style and getting in better kicks has been added. Do they need Curnow and Mackay? Is Walsh worse than Currency? Does Cripps have the foot speed for a fast-paced transition game style that we know Wright wants? All are valid questions, and with no first-round draft pick in 2025, you would think something has to give to get a quick turnaround and avoid another painful rebuild. A lot of similarities can be applied to Melbourne, where Petrarca and Oliver's futures are not clear. Both in the last trade period looked at moves away, and with little on-field improvement this season, the same could happen again. Oliver is still nowhere near his best, and Petrarca has been solid coming back from that life-threatening injury. Then, the recent reports around Jake Lever being unsettled, who was dropped mid-year, reared their heads, culminating in similar questions like the ones with those Carlton players. Who would have thought these 3 players at the end of say 2023 could all be a chance to move 2 seasons later? Now there are personal circumstances here, and the contracts of Petrarca and Oliver are very expensive, but it might be in the interest of both parties to move on. Previously, it would have been expected all 3 would stay into their early and mid-30s to guide the younger players through and play their part, but the instant want for success and quick improvement has dramatically shifted this sentiment of sticking through the tough times. Now it seems like both the players and clubs want to move on more quickly. We even saw this with Essendon. Complaints with injury and fitness management spilled into rumours after round 17 and even led to an Essendon great in Matthew Lloyd revealing he would have no problem with current captain Zach Merritt leaving the club in search of more finals opportunities. Think about that. A club icon and legend admitting on television they would have no issue if their club's best player requested a trade out. It shows how far we have all come in the trade space with these superstars. But it's not just the media and high-profile players themselves who are leading this new age of player movement, but the clubs as well. The Western Bulldogs last off-season are a perfect example. Jack McRae and Caleb Daniel were both highly respected premiership players and leaders at the club. Before 2024, McRae was even vice-captain, and in the 2024 season, Daniel was in the leadership group. Ask any Bulldog supporter, and they would have guaranteed both would be in the red, white and blue until they retired. But a want for more leg speed and athleticism in Luke Beveridge's side meant both were on the fringes of the team, and when they played, they were mainly role players out on the wing. It was such a sudden departure for both who did officially request trades, but the club also showed them the exit signs during the season. Clubs have no fear to move on heart and soul players if they don't fit what the overall team needs. So using these recent examples and taking bits and pieces, there are a few overarching reasons why superstars previously thought to be one club players are no longer safe. Clubs absolutely have no fear of moving off long-time servants, and as we have seen in the media, they are even encouraged to. This goes the other way as well, with opposition clubs, Hawthorn one big example, having no shame in going after marquee players when previously that might have been out of bounds. With Tasmania set to come in as well, no one really wants to rebuild, so flipping players out, for example Brodie Grundy, and being able to use the picks from that to bring in better suited players instantly also has become more attractive. Then throw in the individual brands of players and the significant influence managers have in the trade market with their connections to the media and power over clubs and their future dealings. It is all added up to a new reality where no one is safe from being moved on. I'm not sure the NBA or NFL has influenced this directly, but clearly we are slowly transitioning to that style of player market where big names can play for multiple teams over the lifetime of their careers. But we are not fully there quite yet. So will this be good or bad for the sport? We really are about to find out. Romantics who love the one club players might not be loving seeing all of this new trade speculation. But say Melbourne move off Petrarca and Lever, get some new draftees in, and bounce back up the ladder in a couple of seasons, you couldn't say the move was bad, despite trading away one of their club's best ever players and a Norm Smith medalist. And what if Carlton traded Mackay or Curnow out, moved off of Walsh, and got in 2 solid draft picks, and say Ollie Florent from Sydney, and bounced back quickly in 2026? You would have to say again that the moves were for the better. Now this is a simplified version of what might happen, but if both of these clubs, and perhaps others, do move on from their marquee players with success, it might encourage even more to be aggressive and have an open mind to trade anyone if the fit is right and if the player also wants a fresh start. Times have changed so much in the past few seasons, and all we can do is sit back from afar and see how all these teams do, and if they end up trading their marquee stars and the impact that will have on their clubs in the future.